The Threxian Empire had spent 9,000 rotations perfecting a single creation, an artificial intelligence so advanced that their scientists sometimes whispered its name with reverence and sometimes with fear, Omnisite, a predictive machine capable of mapping the trajectories of entire civilizations, a tool designed not just to analyze, but to foretell, to extrapolate the future with terrifying precision. Omnisite had successfully predicted the collapse of the Varun hegemony, forecasted the economic implosion of the stellar Commonwealth, and even anticipated the birth of 3 new religions within the Nebula Rim, all with an accuracy rate above 99%. But there was one world that refused to fit into its models, one species that continuously derailed its projections, like loose stones in an otherwise polished machine, humanity. At first, the Threxians assumed this was simply a matter of insufficient data, so they gathered more, millions of transmissions, videos, historical archives, biological scans, cultural records, pattern logs, even Earth's memetic output, a category they had never needed for any other species, yet found necessary here. They fed all of it into Omnisite, letting the galaxy's most powerful intelligence digest the chaos of humans. Then they waited, confident that the answer would come. When the machine finally delivered its prediction, High Analyst Je looked at the results, blinked twice, and whispered the words that rippled in panic through the entire analytical cast. "This can't be correct. Omnisite is confused." The unthinkable, the impossible, the unacceptable had happened. Their supreme AI, the machine that guided empires, had failed. And it had failed specifically because of humans. The more Omnisite tried to predict humans, the more its systems strained. At first, the anomalies were small, a 0.03% deviation here, a misread probability there, but day by day, the divergence grew like cracks in a cosmic mirror, until its projections collapsed entirely each time it tried to forecast human behavior beyond a 3-day window. For any other species, Omnisite could map future political shifts centuries ahead, but with humans, the data turned to static. Multiple test scenarios were conducted. Scenario 1. Humanity discovers faster-than-light travel. Prediction: humans expand cautiously and diplomatically. Actual: they build a warp-powered pizza delivery service before forming a unified government. Scenario 2. Humanity contacts alien life. Prediction: they form structured communication protocols. Actual: the first official message from Earth to the galaxy was, "Sup lol, you guys real, or what?" transmitted accidentally from a gamer's satellite hack. Scenario 3. Humanity receives advanced Threxian mathematics algorithms. Prediction: they revolutionize their scientific world. Actual: they use it to create unbreakable encryption so they can hide surprise birthday party arrangements from each other. Each failed prediction made Omnisite glitch further. Some Threxian engineers began wearing protective suits around the machine, not because it was dangerous, but because its occasional bursts of digital screaming made everyone uncomfortable. Finally, Omnisite output a single statement, a sentence so shocking it was sealed immediately in the archives. Humanity does not behave in accordance with logic or chaos. They behave in accordance with something else. Je read the sentence again and again, trying to understand what something else meant. Eventually, the council decided the only solution was direct observation. They would send a research vessel to Earth, and they would attempt to decode, once and for all, the baffling organism known as Homo sapiens. The Threxian exploration vessel, Auris 9, arrived in Earth's orbit with utmost caution, deploying stealth systems, translation arrays, and cultural filters to prepare for the encounter. They did not expect what happened next. Before they could broadcast a single message, humans noticed them. Not governments, not military radar, not elite astronomers, but a stargazing teenager live-streaming on social media who pointed at the faint silhouette in the sky and said, "Guys, look, UFO, definitely aliens, or maybe my camera is fried. Within minutes, millions were watching, reacting, theorizing, joking, editing memes, and creating conspiracy-themed dance videos. The Threxians had attempted to arrive quietly. Humanity responded by turning them viral. Then things escalated. Before the Threxians could initiate formal first contact protocols, a group of humans launched drones toward the ship, not for war, but to deliver welcome baskets loaded with snacks, letters, and a QR code linking to a playlist titled Songs for Your First Day as Aliens Visiting Earth. The alien crew stared at the drones, hovering politely outside their hull, each drone waiting for a thumbs-up signal to drop its basket. Threxians did not have thumbs. This caused a 30-minute delay. When the humans finally interpreted the aliens' lack of hand-based appendages as a thumbs-up, they cheered, celebrated, and immediately began arguing online about who deserved credit for first civilian alien diplomacy. Meanwhile, aboard the Orus 9, chaos simmered. Jirek, the communication officer, studied the welcome letters with growing confusion. One said, "Hey aliens, hope you like chocolate, don't worry, only like 8% of humans are jerks." Another read, "If you're hostile PLS reconsider, we have dogs." A third said, "We come in peace too, probably, depends on the day." Jirek turned to Captain Thalen and whispered, "How does Omnisite predict creatures who write such contradictory greetings?" The captain simply replied, "It doesn't." In an effort to understand humans, the Threxians conducted a structured series of controlled interactions. They began by asking humans simple questions, expecting stable patterns, reliability, baseline logic. They received the opposite. Question, what motivates your species? Human answers, food, money, a good meme, spider, love, fear of missing out, mostly coffee. The lack of consistency frustrated the researchers, but they pressed on. Next, they asked humans to describe their long-term goals as a civilization, hoping for a unified vision. Instead, the humans responded with everything from colonize Mars, to fix climate change, to invent edible cutlery, to teach cats to talk, to figure out why printer jams exist. Each answer required Omnisite to adjust its model, and each adjustment introduced new errors, new inconsistencies, and new logical vortices the machine could not reconcile. Finally, the Threxians asked what they assumed was the simplest possible question. What do humans truly want? The unanimous answer, shockingly consistent across all regions, cultures, and demographics, was this: we want things to be better. This was profound, inspirational, and theoretically predictable. But the humans continued. We just can't agree on what better means. And suddenly, the machine broke again. Omnisite collapsed into recursive paradox loops, unable to compute a species that wanted improvement but had 8 billion conflicting definitions of improvement. It began generating spontaneous error poetry, glitch haiku, and in one particularly dramatic moment, an entire opera in binary titled The Unknowable Species. The Threxians had to physically disconnect half the machine to stop it from melting. In desperation, they tried a final analysis, a deep, immersive cultural scan using Earth's media archives. This only made things worse. After consuming thousands of films, shows, videos, podcasts, memes, music tracks, and live streams, Omnisite reached a catastrophic conclusion. Humanity has no consistent pattern, yet they persist, yet they thrive. The machine paused, then delivered its final statement before shutting down for self-repair. They are unpredictable not because they lack logic, but because they possess too many forms of it. And with that, the greatest AI in the galaxy admitted defeat. With Omnisite temporarily offline, the Threxian Council panicked, fearing that without predictions, humanity represented an uncontrollable variable in galactic stability. But Captain Thalen, who had witnessed Earth firsthand, argued for a different perspective. Perhaps unpredictability is not a threat, he said. Perhaps it is their strength. The council was unconvinced, so Thalen invited them to Earth for a simple demonstration. He brought them to a human city, not the safest, not the cleanest, not the most impressive, but a normal one, full of contradictions, noise, laughter, argument, invention, clumsiness, generosity, chaos, and cooperation. He pointed to the people helping each other across the street, to the scientists working on breakthrough technology in underfunded labs, to the artists painting murals under bridges, to the children inventing imaginary worlds in playgrounds. He showed them kindness and conflict, genius and foolishness, ambition and exhaustion, all existing simultaneously, all woven into the same unpredictable tapestry. "Do you see," he said, "they are unstable, but they adapt, they contradict themselves, but they grow, they fail repeatedly, but they persist, and in that persistence is a power no algorithm can predict." The council observed silently, processing this new perspective. Finally, Je, who had once feared humanity, spoke softly. "Perhaps the flaw was not in Omnisite's design, but in our assumption that predictability is the only path to survival." Thalen nodded, relieved. Humanity did not fit into the galaxy's algorithms, but perhaps they were never meant to. Perhaps they were meant to bend them, break them, rewrite them. Not with calculation, but with creativity, defiance, randomness, and hope. The Threxians returned home with a new understanding. Omnisite was rebuilt, stronger and wiser, but with one permanent limitation written into its core code. Humanity, unpredictable by design. Not a warning, but a tribute. And for the first time in its long existence, the galaxy's greatest AI did not see humanity as a problem to solve. It saw them as a future to witness. A species whose unpredictability was not a flaw, but a miracle.